Republican Congressman Tom Emmer just accidentally explained why his party is in big, big trouble. Republicans need the midterms to be about anything other than Trump. They need it to be about how Democrats are terrible and all of that. But they can't afford for these midterms to be about Donald Trump. And Tom Emmer went on TV and decided to make Trump the centerpiece of the campaign. Tom Emmer says he's optimistic about the midterms because voters know it's about Trump. Well, Trump's approval is 30%. Listen to this. This could be disaster for Republicans.
There's a Harris poll on voter enthusiasm that came out within the last 2 weeks. Very interesting. Usually you have an enthusiasm gap right now, and it doesn't close till sometime in September, October. They broke out MAGA Republicans, and they have Republicans and Democrats. They didn't break out socialist, communist, Marxist, anarchists, just Democrats, and then they had independents. Guess what? The MAGA Republicans, 8 to 9 out of 10 of them are planning on voting in the midterms. Those, by the way, are the MAGA Republicans, the Trump voters that we've been told for 2 years aren't going to show up without President Trump on the ballot. Then you look at Republicans and Democrats, and 7 to 8 out of 10 of each are planning on voting. Already here in July, they're saying they're going to be voting in the midterms. I just want you guys to think about that for a second. There is a ton of enthusiasm out there, and it's not necessarily because they love Republicans and they hate Democrats. You know what it's about? It's about President Trump and his America First policies.
You know, Tom, there may be some enthusiasm out there, but have you checked whether this is actually enthusiasm on your side? Because Trump's approval is 30 in many polls, and large majorities disapprove of his performance. Nearly half of Americans now describe the economy as being in poor condition. Republicans are terrified that Trump's unpopular war with Iran and gas prices above $4 a gallon and the affordability crisis will crush them in November. And Tom Emmer has the bright idea to go on TV and say, don't worry, everybody. This election is fundamentally about Donald Trump. It sounds like a confession because Republicans have a structural problem. Trump's not on the ballot. He doesn't have to worry about ever running again. But every single vulnerable Republican in Congress has spent years allowing Trump and kind of making Trump the center of the Republican Party. And every scandal he has, they defend him. They vote for his agenda. They celebrate the tariffs. They support the war. They insist he is the one who can fix the economy. And now they want voters to treat the midterms as a series of completely unrelated local elections. And Emmer has sort of thrown dynamite on the escape hatch. If voters are unhappy with Trump, the only way to punish him is vote against these Republicans. And Emmer is saying a vote for a Republican is a vote for Trump. Well, then I guess that's not what I want to do. Please proceed, Congressman, if that's the approach. Emmer then, in another moment of this interview, made what I think is a huge mistake, which is he tried to sell the Trump economy to the audience. Even Newsmax said, I don't know about that. Check this out.
Southern border. It's about an economy that is starting to work for everyone. You look at real wages are growing faster than inflation. You look at the lower rungs of the prosperity ladder in this country. They are actually catching up for the first time in years. Their spending is up about 6% right now. They are feeling better about the economy. And if their perception is they're in a better place than they were under Joe Biden and they see a bright future, guess what, guys? We're going to hold the House, we're going to hold the Senate, and we're going to finish out Trump's term in style.
And Congressman, I do have to point out, though, that there still are many Americans on both sides of the aisle who are feeling financial pressure, financial strain on various levels, whether it be because of the war in Iran or maybe inflation not going down as quickly as we had hoped. What is your message to them? Because we keep telling them to be patient, and they may feel that they just don't have patience left.
Well, Katrina, I guess I'm pushing back on that by telling you that while there are people, and there always will, that are going to be struggling, what they're saying compared to what is happening is not matching. And what you're going to see, I believe, is by early September, those two things, the perception of their economic reality and they're literally the economic reality are going to be intersecting. The economy, nobody's talking about 99-cent eggs. And you're correct, by the way, when you talk about, for instance, gas prices.
So he just starts going into this hemming and hawing, ifs, ands, and buts. You know the Republican economic message is in big trouble when Newsmax won't let you get away with the economy is starting to work for everybody. That's the kind of sentence that politicians love to manufacture in a conference room. The economy is starting to work for everyone. And then they just repeat it until people don't pay attention to their own bank account and they just believe you. But that didn't work for Biden. It didn't work for Harris. Inflation was still 3.5% in June after being 3.8% in May. Energy prices were up 16% over the last year. Gas up 27%. 1 in 5 Americans says the economy is good or excellent. In Pennsylvania, which is often sort of a bellwether of on the economy, 44% of voters say I'm worse off than I was a year ago. It's just Republicans in power. It's only Republicans. Those people can't pay their grocery bills, but they're hearing Tom Emmer's talking points about the economy. And so the trap Republicans have created themselves is that they spent the whole Biden presidency insisting every price increase, that's the president's fault. Trump said it will be immediate relief when I get into power. And now prices are higher than they were when Trump took over. Gas is again up over $4 a gallon. And Republicans want voters to appreciate how complex these economic trends are because prosperity is coming very soon. Emmer connected two things Republicans have to keep separate: Trump and the economy that people are actually experiencing. If the midterms are about Trump, which Emmer says they are, and if voters judge Trump by whether their lives become more affordable, Emmer may be right that there's tremendous enthusiasm, but it may be enthusiasm to vote out every single one of these clowns. Now, let me issue one other reminder. Your Republican elected official almost certainly agrees with 100% or 98% of what Donald Trump has done and has rubber stamped everything Trump wanted when it came through the House or Senate. So for the people who are sort of like, yeah, Trump's not my thing, but I like my congressperson, I like my senator, who happens to be a Republican. Your congressperson or senator has been part of rubber stamping and not putting any obstacles in front of Trump for doing all of the stuff you claim not to like. Remember that when you vote in November. On the bonus show today, we have new polling in Maine involving Graham Plattner's replacement. The president of Nicaragua says no more elections. And the House's AI kill switch bill has been unveiled after a very alarming hack involving OpenAI. All of those stories and more on today's bonus show. Sign up at joinpakman.com. You'll get instant access to the bonus show and more. I think you'll love it. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.